Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Oh, come on, I came all this way. How are we doing today? Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Jeremy, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I'm truly honored. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It really is a true blessing to be able to share this time with you guys and to be able to hear from Lou, from George, and just really kind of taking those lessons in. How many people really feel like, this year, I don't know what's going on here, but this year they really want to set an intention? Anybody? Cool. What would you say if I said that in the next 25 minutes we could do that? Sound good? Yeah. But the question really becomes, are you interested or are you invested? I was at a Business Mastery in 2018. I actually heard Tony speaking with the then Super Bowl MVP, Nick Foles. And one of the things that they mentioned was, what really is the difference that makes the difference? And one of the things that really stuck with me is, are you interested or are you invested? So I'm going to keep coming back to that today because one of the things I love about Tony Robbins and the work that I've had the pleasure to be a part of for the last 4.5 years, and that Tony's been championing now for 4 decades, is really getting people to get the results that they're after. So I think that George is 100,000% right for whatever it means to have my vote, that setting the intention is absolutely everything, and that is the essential first step. Would you agree, yes or no?
Yes.
But then, as he said, we must take action, and I got to tell you, in my time here on this earth, I've yet to find a better trainer, coach than this man in getting people to do just that. How many people would agree with that who've actually been to a seminar? I'm just curious. Look around the room. So for those of you that haven't, I want that journey to start right now. I've had the privilege to be part of this team for the last 4 years, and I don't have all the answers, and I never one would come off that way. But I'm going to tell you something. It has been a true blessing for the last 4 years to watch people set intentions and get results. And I know that in this room, I'm filled with people who not only have the intellect, have the capacity, have the ability, but also have the desire, have the hunger, and have the passion. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then will you agree, will you commit, will you invest the next 25 minutes to play full out with me so we can get a result here this morning, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I want you to do. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your sheet right in front of you. It's going to look like this. Everybody see that? And I want you to write one thing on the top, please. I want you to write the words peak state. Peak state. Now naturally I had a whole agenda for you guys today, and like I'm so fond of doing, I'm going to scratch all that and do something else. Because I think that this will really, really make an impact. So one of the first things that's really important to understand when you set an intention is getting your emotions aligned, as George said. So the words we use for that are peak state, right? Because have you ever had a situation where, you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make my calls tomorrow. Anybody ever had that? And then you get an email, you get a phone call, and something is going wrong, whatever that might be. All of a sudden you get into a completely different state. Does that make sense? The calls, the intentions, all those things that you would set, the goals, then become secondary. So it's imperative that we as a team understand how to put ourselves in the right state of mind, the right emotional state to accomplish whatever our intention is. Does that make sense? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is give you and this is not really all that scientific, but it's effective, and I hope that's okay. Right? I want to give you the first strategy of the day on how we can maintain the right state for today's session. You ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. You ready for it?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. It's very important. Deep breath in. Let it out. You push your neighbor. I'm kidding. Oh, come on, push your neighbor. Go ahead. There you go. All right, that'll work. So, Tony Robbins for 40 years, if you don't know, has been working with some of the most successful. Now, he's been asked a simple question, and I'm excited to share it with you, but I'm also challenged because I don't have a ton of time, and I'm terrified of this woman right here with her red car. So, He's been asked, after coaching, Oprah, Michael Jordan, Golden State Warriors, the Capitals, all these people that have had tremendous successes, Princess Diana, Nelson Mandela, etc. He's been asked, what is the difference that makes a difference? Why do people get different results in their lives? And the answer is simple. They run different patterns of behavior. You know how Georgia a moment ago was talking about how you cross your arms? Or the way you put your thumbs? Actually, let's try that out for a second. Do me a favor. Stand up for a quick second. Stand up. For some of you, this will be a good reminder. And do me a favor. Shake your body out. Just do that for a second. Shake your body out. I know some of you are like, I don't do that move. I don't know what that is. That's fine. Now do me a favor. And just put your hands out in front of you about 6 inches apart, please. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And on go, if you'd be so kind, everybody just clap, okay? Yes, just like that. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. See how quickly we get patterns? Everybody with me? Now, I'm curious. We all know what was happening because of the momentum, yes? Yes. How quickly can momentum change in your business? Like that. Because we as human beings can pick up momentum very, very quickly. We have to make sure we understand how to redirect it, refocus, and re-energize if we're not going down the right path. Does that make sense? Yes. Because do me a favor. Cross your fingers and your thumbs, please. Now look down at your thumbs. Who's got their left thumb over their right thumb in this room? I'm just curious. Okay, lots of us. Who here remembers what that means? Anybody? Take it away. Go ahead, Lindsay. Want to say that again?
Like focus. They're focused on sexuality.
I don't know. You tell me. Now we're going to go back. Actually, yes, she's 100% right, as always, right? But I like to leave her hanging there. So, if your left thumb, listen to me now, if your left thumb is over your right thumb, the latest research shows that you are not only creatively inclined, but you are an incredible lover. So congratulations. Repetition is the mother of skill, guys. You go home and go, honey, told you. Anyway. Now wait, where are my right thumbers? Just out of curiosity, where are my right thumbers? Okay, we'll talk after. Anyway, where was I? Oh, no, if your right thumb is over your left, the research shows that's great too. You're the logically inclined. If any of the two are going to amass a fortune, it's going to be the right thumbers. Okay, see what motivates this group. They want the sex and the money. It's up to them. However, this is why I had you do it. All fun and games aside, one of the reasons I had you do it is this. If you'd be kind enough before we sit back down, just cross your fingers and thumbs one last time. Here's my question. Do you have the same thumb on top as before, yes or no?
Yes.
Just switch your thumbs and tell me how that feels out loud.
Unnatural.
A little weird, a little awkward, a little different. Okay, shake that out and sit down as sexy millionaires. Go ahead. Now, for some of you that are like, what the heck does it have to do with my real estate business? We talked about patterns of behavior. We talked about setting an intention and then taking action. Everybody with me?
Yes.
So, the question really becomes then, what if our patterns, the things that we do every single day, our habits, what if they're taking us in the wrong direction? Because we just showed ourselves how quickly we can change momentum, if that makes sense. One of the things I want to share with you guys, though, is that a lot of our patterns actually run on autopilot. Does that make sense? They just kind of keep going, and they've been going for, as Luke said, for a very long time. And so the point I'm making is that we have to be able to not only become clear about which ones are serving us, which ones are giving us the results that we've actually set an intention for, and which ones are just showing up as a byproduct. Because we can change any pattern that isn't serving us, provided that one, we become aware, yeah? Two, we get emotionally attached. We set in a real intention with alignment. And three, we take action. So what I want to do today is this, if I have your permission. I want to take you through a proven process. It will not take long, but it is incredibly effective. That will give you clarity, because clarity is power, on what your intention is and which patterns are serving you to get it. Would that be helpful, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you're with me?
Yes.
Okay, then one last time. This is important. Take a deep breath in, let it out, and push your neighbor. Thank you. All right, good. Now, as you can see on the board, as you can see, we're talking about patterns, we're talking about results. Now, the easiest way that I know to get clear on which results we really want is ask a question about how we feel right now. So here's what I like to do as a team. And I want to do this as a team because, as you know, the cliche goes, if we play as a team, we'll win as a team. Right, are we a team?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. By the way, I'm not asking you questions so we have a rah-rah here. I'm not here to motivate anybody because, frankly, if you're here right now, you don't need any motivation, least of all from me. How do I know that? Because you're here. Right? But at the same time, studies show if you do not respond vocally, your retention level stays around 10%. So if I ask you a question, please, for the purposes of our session, use your voice. You don't have to shout, you don't have to scream, but use your voice so that it tells your brain this is important and we're going to remember it. Right? That's why, for example, if I asked you what you had for breakfast 2 weeks ago on a Tuesday morning, you may not remember, except for people that have the same thing every day. Where are you? Yeah, I can feel it. Thank you very much. For the rest of us, though, we may not recall because it wasn't that important. However, if your favorite song came on the radio from high school, you'd remember the chorus. Yes? Dun 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 dun. Okay, I digress. And I can see some of you are puzzled. Is he like Vanilla Ice or David Bowie? I don't know. The hair's throwing me off. Anyway, the point is, okay? The point is, if you use your voice, you'll remember. Yeah? You with me?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. You guys got it. Okay. So we're talking about results. Now, here's the thing. Easiest way I know to get clear on results from working with Tony all these years is simple. Ask yourself, how do you feel right now about your results 1 to 10 in your business? 1 would be your worst. 10 would be your best. You're going to write a book on this stuff. I just want you to be honest and answer that for yourself. And write your number anywhere you'd like on your sheet, please. Okay. Jeanette, can I bother you really quickly? Can you be my eyes? Can you just turn around for a quick second? Raise your hand, please, nice and high so Jeanette can see you. If your number right now, honestly, is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, raise your hand. Very cool. I appreciate your honesty. Got a bunch of high achievers in this room. That's awesome. We did this with Oprah, by the way. What do you think her number was? 3. And she has her own network. So you're in good company. Now raise your hand if your number was 5, 6, or 7, please. Okay. 8, 9, 10. Any 11s? Take a shot. All right. What would the average be?
The average, for which part?
Well, with the hands that went up, what do you think the overall average is?
I think probably about 60-70% for the first group.
Yep.
About, I don't know, I guess, what, at least 30%. So, 20, 30. Well, I only saw a couple hands at the end, right? I'm not good with math. Okay.
She's fantastic. Give her a round of applause, please. If you were to make a weighted average, what number would it be? Shout it out.
4.
Good. I agree. 4.
Oh,
So,
that's what you were asking.
I know, I confuse everybody. It's part of my job. So, 4. Here's what's great. What's great is that you're doing things right now to get you to a 4. I know who I'm speaking to. You guys are the top of the top, and I'm not pandering to you. So it makes a lot of sense, by the way, that you would have such a close affinity with Tony and back and forth. So I know we must be kindred spirits in that regard, that we still want to take it to another level. And it's indicative of this room that a team that is as successful as you guys are, for lack of a better term, still would have an average of a 4. Because when I hear that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I hear that, all I hear is, we've got another 60% that we could tap into. Fair or unfair? Fair. How many people would want to do that this year, realistically? Grow their business by at least 60%, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, what would that look like? I want you to take a minute and write down a few things that would be different if that were the reality. Or better yet, just simply write down, why didn't I say 10?
I did.
That's fantastic. Who said that? Give her a round of applause, please. Thank you so much. No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. What's your first name?
Barbara.
Barbara. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Steven. That's truly wonderful. See, the reality is this. The reality is I ask you that nosy question, right? Who am I to ask? But I'm asking anyway. So I ask you that nosy question. And the only way you can give yourself a number is if your brain immediately, even on a subconscious level, on an autopilot level, compares and contrasts with how you feel how you think your 10 would feel right now. Does that make sense? Everybody with me on that?
Yes.
So ask yourself, what would have had to been true? If this nosy guy from Tony Robbins came by, he's asking me all these questions, and he's saying, hey, how do you feel about your business? What would have to be true right now in order for me to feel like a 10?
Excited.
I want you to think about that. And I want you to write a few things down, please. Anywhere you like on your sheet. Would you have had more closings? Would you have spent more time with family? Would you have more energy? Less stress? More experience? Bigger team? More time in the gym? What would it have been for you? Now here's my question, and I really appreciate everybody's participation, so I thank you for that. Here's my question. The thing that you've written down, is that goal possible? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is it reasonable?
Yes.
Frankly, is there someone else out there doing it right now, to your knowledge?
Yes.
And you don't have to believe me, but if there is, that should be all the proof that you need that it's possible, that it's reasonable, and that you can do it. Now, Tony Robbins, as I said, has been coaching people for 4 decades. And in those 4 decades,